Greetings, my dear viewer. You're on the channel The Price of Cheating. The channel is for those who appreciate traditional family values and condemn adultery. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Receiving a message from Bridget, his sister-in-law Jack Thompson wasn't particularly shocked. With just a month left until the 30th anniversary of her birthday, it was no surprise that she wanted to meet, naturally without Gwen knowing. He suspected that Bridget was planning a surprise celebration for Gwen, and that he was likely being roped in to help. As soon as Jack stepped into the cozy cafe Bridget had chosen, he immediately sensed that something was wrong. Bridget's embrace, usually warm and familiar, was tense, and her expression bore a heaviness that didn't match the occasion. They settled in a secluded corner with their drinks, and Bridget wasted no time. Her voice was a mixture of anxiety and determination. "Jack, I need to talk to you about something important," she began, averting her eyes. "Last night, during a conversation with Gwen, I found out something that shocked me. I thought I knew my sister well, but it turns out I was wrong. She's been unfaithful." "Unfaithful? What do you mean?" Jack's heart pounded, disbelief creeping in. "With whom? How long has this been going on?" Her gaze was steady but troubled. "That's the hardest part. As far as I can tell, she's been cheating on you for about 22 years with hundreds of different men." 22 years? Jack's voice rose, a mix of shock and betrayal. "That's practically the entire duration of our marriage. Are you absolutely sure?" "Do you have any evidence?" I asked, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and resignation. She nodded, revealing her phone. "I recorded our conversation." I could still hear the tremor in her voice as she uncovered the heartbreaking truth about her infertility. She looked at him, and there was understanding in his eyes. "This has been a dark chapter for both of us. I explored every possible option: IVF, surrogacy, adoption. Each suggestion was met with her firm refusal. She spiraled into a cycle of self-reproach, and I insisted she stop tormenting herself. Nature dealt us a cruel hand, and it's not her fault." The dream of fatherhood burned brightly within me. She even suggested a way out. I could divorce her and find someone who could bear children. But I couldn't allow myself to entertain such a thought. I was committed to every word of my marriage vows, through thick and thin. I refused to abandon her. Bridget interjected. "Gwen and I have talked about this a lot." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "About a year after you got married, she told me that you both had agreed to open up your relationship." Bridget's revelation hung in the air like a cloud. "I promised to keep it a secret and never to bring it up with you. She knew that the idea would make you uncomfortable, especially around family and friends." Jack shook his head, confusion etched across his face. "There was never such an agreement between us, Bridget. This is news to me. I can't accept this." Tension mounted as each word unraveled the fabric of trust and understanding we had built. The evening took a drastic turn, and I realized that the truth could destroy even the strongest bonds. Clenching her fingers, she grabbed his hand. "I can feel the weight of our argument from yesterday hanging in the air. The details of our fight have faded, lost in the chaos of emotions, but her words still echoed in my mind. She blamed me for some long-harbored resentment. Then, shockingly, she unleashed a torrent of confessions, bragging about a deception that had lasted for 29 years. With a twisted sense of pride, she recounted how week after week she had used the cover of our girls' nights out to seduce other men. "You were nothing but her ignorant cuckold," she claimed, a cruel smirk playing on her lips. I felt a knot tighten in my stomach, and trying to regain my composure, I pulled out my phone to record the rest of her tirade. Jack sat at the table, utterly devastated, wiping his eyes with a napkin, each dab a painful reminder of the betrayal that he had never seen coming. How could she reject the love I gave her, the commitments I upheld? The realization that she was unfaithful every week felt like a slap in the face, a bitter betrayal of the vows we made to each other. Was this her way of repaying my loyalty, for my decision to support her when we faced the heartbreaking truth of her infertility? What did I do to deserve such blatant disrespect from this heartless witch? "You did nothing, Carl. Absolutely nothing. With a mix of confusion and anger, I demanded an explanation for why she chose this path. Gwen claimed that this was the universe's way of punishing her for being unable to have children. When I asked her why she chose to cheat on you as an act of revenge, especially since you were not at fault, she burst into sharp laughter. Sister, he had a chance to leave and prove he was a real man. By staying with me, he showed he wasn't man enough to have children with someone else. Wow, what a cunning woman, Carl muttered in disbelief. I've made my decision. I'm going to file for divorce. I can no longer stay with this deceitful liar. She has no idea about my secret, he continued, his voice growing firmer and more resolute. For the past 27 years I've been a donor, the father of at least 200 children. Bridget's eyes widened, and a smirk spread across her face as she absorbed the news. Despite her betrayal, Carl realized that he was indeed a father, just not in the way she expected. The next day, he contacted a lawyer and initiated the divorce process, while Bridget was preparing a surprise for her sister, just as Clark had asked. Gwen would remember her birthday and 30th anniversary for the rest of her life. The cheater would be publicly shamed, and everyone would know just how terrible this woman was. Everything was prepared for the celebration, and Gwen was expecting a grand party, but Clark had different plans for the evening. As a result, everyone, colleagues, friends, relatives, and many others online, learned of Gwen's treachery. And Clark left the party with his head held high. This concludes the story. If you like it, then put your powerful like and subscribe to the channel.